Another ship has recently come back for global XP, and it's a pretty important one in my eyes. Republique is arguably still the best battleship at tier 8. Although currently I really think Lepanto is probably better, and if not better, it's a little more fun. But Republique is still extremely potent, and for 1.4 million global XP, she can be yours. The long and the short of it, she has 8 guns, they're pretty big. 431 millimeters. It means you can actually overmatch 30 millimeters of armor, which puts you in a special category with the Georgia, the Yamato, and the Musashi. Being a larger caliber also means these shells have more penetration, and the shells deal a lot of damage. As of now, stock, each shell is going to deal 14,000 damage on a citadel. Oh, and the reload is 25 seconds base. The same as Carnot. Oh boy, poor Carnot. All of that plus decent armor and speed makes this a very formidable battleship at tier 8. Today we're on Atlantic, and maybe you've noticed we're already at 63,000 damage. Talk about some RNGesus, we got a little bit lucky, not going to lie. We're not using any epic or legendary modules, and actually we have a very odd build. This will be the second video in a row with this screwed up build. Believe it or not, this is full secondary in the gameplay here. I threw it on one stream to showcase for one of our Discord members, Flicks, and I completely forgot about it. So the next time I took the ship out, here we go, full secondaries. A little later on, our secondaries start going off at long range, and I finally figure it out. But hey, nobody told these guys, so we're at 70k. It just goes to show that even with full secondary builds, sailing broadside is just not a good idea in front of any ship. Anyways, how I would really set this ship up would be with Robert Jajard and a reload/accuracy build. Atlantic is really one of my least favorite maps, up there with Crash Zone, Sea Spawn, and Warrior's Path, and of course I seem to get it quite often. Republique though, it really doesn't mind this map too much. She's great for these big open spaces, and being a massive floating gun platform, yes, I said massive, this is the largest French battleship in the game. At 286 meters long, that's longer than Montana, Hikiryu, Conqueror, Burgonia, you name it. The only battleship currently in Legends that is bigger than Republique is the Grosser Kurfürst. And this bloated size brings me to one of my issues with Republique. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself, we'll get there. These big open spaces on the map are great. With a little planning ahead, we had our guns facing the correct direction, and again, when players are just going to sail full broadside, it makes it very easy. It doesn't take a lot of skill to get big damage when the enemy team cooperates. Really, that's what battleship play is all about, trying to find these good crossfires, and of course, at times, tanking for your team. In that regard, Republique is good and bad. In typical French battleship fashion, she's wrapped in 32 millimeters of armor, so she's pretty susceptible to all sorts of HE spam, and especially pins from big battleships like Yamato. But she has a well-protected citadel and a turtleback armor scheme, so in a brawl, she's actually pretty decent and can handle herself quite well. She's more protected from gut shots that battleships like Conqueror or Yamato can take up close. Mostly though, I try to keep Republique at medium to longer ranges and just keep cycling these shells. The AP is gnarly, like we mentioned. It actually has the best armor penetration among battleship AP shells, up to around 17 or 18 kilometers in the entire game. At those longer ranges, like 18 kilometers, finally the Yamato and Musashi AP starts to outperform it, but really this is some of the best AP in the entire game. On PC, it's actually a tier 10 ship, and really I think it shows. Generally when a higher tier ship is brought into Legends like that to a lower tier, it keeps a lot of its same stats while maybe getting nerfed a little bit, unless you're Summer CE. And then you just get tier 10 PC stats brought right into tier 7. But really, Republique is no different. I think this could have easily been a legendary tier battleship. She's just really strong. But alas, here we are at tier 8 in Legends. As you can see here, the gun firing angles are pretty good, and this can be a good kiting battleship where you just stay angled and kind of run away, forcing the enemy to chase you. Yeah, she's pretty good at that playstyle. And the other thing you might notice, I've been shooting quite a bit of HE. Each HE shell has a 48% fire chance. That's basically Conqueror levels. So bow tanking battleships or ones that are well angled are simply not a problem. And of course, Azerlane Dunkirk makes this pretty seamless to switch back and forth once you're loaded. If that commander ever comes back, I would highly recommend spending the 5,000 doubloons on her because she's just really super good. Now, it looks like I'm kind of playing pretty lazy here, I'm not gonna lie. So Republique, I think you could play it two ways. One, you could put the propulsion module on there and do what I'm doing here. And that's, backing up, going forward. I suppose if you know there are going to be crossfires, there's really nothing wrong with that. And that's what we've been kind of doing here, trying to stay in a central location as all of these ships try to sail all the way around the map. Then we have their broadsides the entire time. But sitting here, I've, again, been kind of lazy, and I think the upcoming shot from the Montana is also going to be disastrous. But I have the rudder module currently on Republique. So if I'm using the rudder, really, it should be sailing around the map at high speed, turning, bringing your guns into and out of the fight. So anyways, do as I say, not as I do. I'm just being kind of lazy here, it looks like, and it's lost me a lot of health, actually. So these battleships, they've been sailing around, and off in front of them is actually Daring, and he's going to be a thorn in my side later on. Overall, though, aside from just getting smacked, the match is going pretty well. Earlier, I mentioned how big the Republique was. The ship is huge, and really that equates to having some very bad handling. How bad? Republique has the worst battleship turning circle of tier 8, 980 meters. In fact, it's probably top 5 biggest turning circles in the whole game. Rosterkurfürst, Stalingrad, I know those are above 1100, Petro is 990, those are some to name a few, but this is not a nimble ship. It's pretty darn cumbersome, and the rudder shift is not that fast either. It's a stark contrast to the Bourgogne, who is pretty nimble, or other tier 7 battleships with this similar gun configuration. When I first got Republique, I was thinking of Champagne and Gascogne. They're very quick on their feet, they're light, they're agile. Well, do not expect that out of the Republique. It's something that you don't really feel when you're watching gameplay, replays, and reviews. You can't tell how heavy or slow or sluggish a ship feels, but as soon as you start playing this thing, yeah, you'd figure it out. She is not very agile. And because she's so huge, Republique also has pretty bad concealment. It's one of the worst at tier 8. Sometimes in World of Warships, big ships don't always compute to bad concealment, but with this French BB, it really does. You're essentially going to get outspotted by about everything. The AA is pretty stout, so you're not helpless against CVs, and overall I think that rounds it off to make a very nice battleship package and one heck of a tier 8. I would still rate this ship as a strong 4.5 out of 5 stars, given her amazing firepower, great HE, great AP, good AA, decent speed with a speed booster, strong enough armor when used correctly. This really is the whole package. If you're needing a premium battleship at tier 8, this would likely be my choice. There's not a lot of options up here for tier 8s and global XP at the moment, but I'm sure more are going to show up in the future. I think tier 8's a pretty fun tier. It's just not the one that I would go to grind anything out, such as silver. Tier 7's home for that, but there are a lot of fun and unique ships here at tier 8. Earlier, I said I thought Lepanto was better, and I think that for a couple reasons. One, obviously, is the secondaries. Lepanto really has the most potent secondaries in the entire game. They just shred ships up close, chew them up. Lepanto also has a 45-second exhaust smoke generator, and that is really hard to put into words how good that is. Get you out of sticky situations or into good positions. It's just really handy to have on a big, massive, not very concealed battleship. Well, this match is shaping up nicely as we pushed up and eliminated the Shimakaze here in the middle of the map. And it was about this time that I realized I was using a secondary built Republique. I know, boomer moment. I seem to screw a lot of ship builds up during streams and I forget to put them back, just get busy, blah blah blah. But to be fair, this build has worked out okay. I do have to say though, if we had the proper build on and it was all accuracy, I'm sure we would have done much, much better. Some of these shots are, whoa, like the dispersion is very, very wonky, and you can chalk that up to not having aiming systems and, you know, being focused on all secondary modules. There are 3 ships left though, so I am hoping that maybe we can get a Kraken. So we're going to switch over to HE here really quickly, try to blap the Sumner, and then I can save the Ibuki and kind of kill him at my own leisure since I just have a destroyer here. And this is why I can't get the kill. These are the kind of things that I'm thinking about during a match. So anyways, we'll look back over to the Ibuki, load some AP, and see if we can't pick up our 4th kill. Again, fingers crossed for a decent RNG roll. Anyways, Republique. Yes, it's a very, very good ship, but it's also pretty unique. It kind of has a playstyle in between the Montana and the Yamato, if that makes sense. You have the speed of the Montana with the punchy guns and the gray AP of Yamato. It makes for a pretty fun battleship to play, I have to say. And the 5th and final ship is that Daring from earlier. And while I do think I'm going to survive, sadly, I don't think we're going to be able to pick up the kill. He's just going to run away and stay hidden, and hey, I'm not above it. I have ran in matches before just to pad my stats. But anyways, that is all I have to say about that. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Let me know what you guys think of Republique in the comment section. She's been around for months now, so lots of people have gotten their grubby paws on her and got to play her. I would love to hear from you. Also, be sure to subscribe for future videos so you don't miss any content. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.